In this video, I'm gonna show you how to get more Google traffic using a new SEO technique. In fact, this new technique has helped take one of my pages to 23,500 organic visitors per month. I've also used this same technique to more than 10x my clicks within a week. I'm Brian Dean, the founder of Backlinko, the place where marketers turn for higher rankings and more traffic. And in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through the entire SEO process, step by step. Stay tuned. The new strategy that I'm about to share with you is called snippet bait. As you might have guessed, this strategy is all about getting your content ranked in the featured snippet spot. Because featured snippets show up above the traditional first page results, I've been putting a lot of emphasis and time on them over the last year or so, which ultimately led me to develop this snippet bait approach. Thanks largely to snippet bait, I went from literally about 5 snippets to, according to Ahrefs, ranking for over 200 featured snippets, including some like this that bring in over 10,000 visitors per month. Now, to be clear, by the time you watch this video, I may or may not still be ranking for that particular featured snippet. There may not even be a featured snippet at all. The idea here isn't that you're always gonna get in the featured snippet 100% of the time. It's one of those things that, because of Google algorithm changes, are always in flux. But when you add snippet bait to your page, you dramatically increase the odds that you'll rank as a featured snippet. With that out of the way, let's get right into the steps. Starting with step number 0, rank on the first page of Google. When Ahrefs analyzed 2 million featured snippets, one thing stood out: that the content in a featured snippet comes from a first page result literally 99% of the time. And I've noticed the same thing. Unless you're already on the first page, Google isn't gonna use your content in the featured snippet. That's because Google wants to pull featured snippet content from pages that they trust. In other words, sites that are already ranking on the first page. So if you're not already on the first page of Google for a given keyword, there's pretty much a 0% chance that you'll get in the featured snippet. But if you're already on page 1, it's time for me to show you the first step, which is to find featured snippet opportunities. Specifically, you want to find keywords that you already rank on Google's first page for and have a featured snippet at the top of the page. For example, I currently rank in the top 5 for how to get more views on YouTube, and there's a featured snippet already there. But as you can see, another site, not mine, is ranking in the featured snippet. This is a featured snippet opportunity that I could potentially use snippet bait to rank for. And if you want to scale this process and make things a little bit easier, you can use a tool like Ahrefs or Moz to find keywords that you rank for that also have a featured snippet in the results. Then it's time for step number 2, identify the featured snippet type. Now that you've found a featured snippet opportunity, it's time to identify the type of featured snippet that you're looking at. That way you can create snippet bait for that specific type of featured snippet. There are 4 main types of featured snippets that you want to keep an eye out for. First up, we have the definition box. This is a snippet of text that's designed to give searchers a direct, concise definition or description. For example, when you search for no-follow links in Google, there's a featured snippet at the top of the page. The definition box tends to show up when people are searching for definition keywords like no-follow links, content management system, or OMAD diet. These also sometimes show up for what is or what are keywords like what is the paleo diet. The other common type of featured snippet is called the table. This is where Google pulls data from a page and displays it as a table. Here's an example. The third important featured snippet to keep an eye out for is the ordered list. This is a list of items or steps presented in order. And as you might expect, Google tends to use this type of featured snippet for keywords that need a set of steps or items in order. You see these a lot for how-to keywords like how to start a business. Google also uses ordered lists for lists that rank things in a specific order like this. Last up, we have the unordered list. This is Google's way of presenting a list of items that don't need to be in any particular order. For example, if you search for link building tools, you'll get a list of the best tools, but they're not necessarily ranked from best to worst. Which leads us to our final step, step number 3, create your snippet bait. So at this point, you've found a featured snippet opportunity and figured out the type of featured snippet that Google's using. Now it's time to add snippet bait to your page. So what is snippet bait? Snippet bait is a snippet of content on your page that's specifically designed to rank as a featured snippet. For example, I've recently wanted to rank in the featured snippet for the keyword channel description. So I added this snippet bait to the top of the page, which helped me grab the featured snippet spot in about a week. Now it's time for me to show you exactly how to create snippet bait for each type of featured snippet that you'll run into. For definition snippets, you want to provide Google a short 40 to 60 word snippet of text that they can directly use in the featured snippet. It also helps if you have something like "what is X" directly above your definition. Here's an example of this type of setup on one of my pages. And because I'm giving Google a word for word definition they can use, I got this snippet bait inside of the featured snippet spot within a few months. HubSpot takes this to the extreme. They actually design little boxes in their content that look just like a featured snippet. Now, I don't think you need to go this far, but it does show you how important formatting is. Specifically, the closer your content looks to a featured snippet, the more likely it is that Google will use it. The only other thing to keep in mind with definition snippets is that you want to make them sound really objective. In other words, don't include an opinion on the topic either way. Remember, Google doesn't want someone's opinion showing up as a definition in a featured snippet. So even if you have a strong feeling on that topic, do your best to write the definition without any emotion. In fact, you want to write the definition like it's in a dictionary. For example, you can see that our definition for no-follow links sounds like it was pulled directly from Webster's dictionary. And if you want to rank for a table featured snippet, you need to actually add a table to your page. In other words, Google isn't going to grab data from different parts of your page and make a table out of it. Instead, they tend to scrape tables that already exist. For example, check out this table featured snippet. Well, when you look at the source of that content, you can see that it's literally the exact same table. How you code these tables depends on how your site is set up and whether or not you use WordPress. But in general, as long as your HTML uses the table tag to present the data in a table, Google should be able to easily read the data. Now, for the ordered list featured snippet, you need to set up your page so that specific steps or a list of items are presented in a way that Google can easily understand. Specifically, you want to wrap every item or step in an H2 or H3 and present each item as a subheader. To make the order of your items or steps crystal clear to Google, you can even include text like step number 1 or 1 in each subheading. Here's an example. The important thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to ordered lists, consistency is key. So if you present step number 1 as step number 1, do X, don't make your second step just step 2, do Y. Instead, you want to present your steps consistently like this or like this. I personally prefer step number 1 over 1 because it's a little bit easier for users to follow along, but Google can understand both. For example, this post lays out a 9-step SEO strategy. Each step in the process uses the exact same format. Step number 1, step number 2, etc. And I also wrapped each step in an H2 tag. Now, last up, for unordered lists, you also want to be consistent, but you don't need to number anything in a specific order. For example, we recently got the featured snippet spot for SEO best practices. And if you look at the page, you can see that each best practice is wrapped in an H2, but the order isn't really important. I could flip these around and it would be pretty much the exact same thing. It's the same story with my list of link building tools. These aren't ranked in any order, but I use H2s in a consistent way to let Google easily figure out the list of tools that I'm talking about. There you have it, my 3-step snippet bait formula for getting more traffic from Google. Did you learn something new from today's video? If so, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. Just click on the subscribe button below this video. And if you want exclusive SEO and traffic techniques that I only share with subscribers, head over to backlinko.com and hop on the newsletter. It's free. Now I want to turn it over to you. Have you tried ranking in the featured snippet spot before? If so, how did it go? I'd like to hear what you have to say, so let me know by leaving a comment below right now. I'm Brian Dean, yeah, way to get back at me. That way, okay. I got this featured snippet spot before. Featured snippet spot.